me a little short video to help you understand how to go about finding the articles for this search, some basic ideas for how to make decisions, use roots, use Boolean operators, and a nice little tool for extracting out the articles you're going to evaluate pretty quickly and put it into an Excel file that you could use. It's an ugly Excel file, but it's easy enough to clean up. And yes, I did just wake up and get out of bed, so you're welcome. What we're going to do is going to use a university database. You're going to most likely use PubMed and or Web of Science. Some of you may use some social science journal databases or education databases. And then you can supplement with Google Scholar and ResearchGate, but those are not going to be your primary tool. So I just go up to search, and I did Florida FGCU library. Go to databases, because that's what we're going to look for. And I tend to go to Web of Science because it's more pure biology and not as much biomedical. PubMed has more biomedical, not as much sort of pure biology. So that's where I go, which is why some of you guys may be doing both. But this is for me. And I go down here to all databases, and these databases are phenomenal. They are free through the university. So I already did one video, but it didn't work. So I'm now doing a second one, but you'll have to log in. You'll log in with your ID, you'll log in with your password, and you'll have to do the two-way verification that we do with our cell phone. But since the first video didn't work, I've already done it. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually come up with a search. And I've been doing some work down in the Peruvian rainforest, looking at the community ecology of reptiles and amphibians. So I'm going to want to do a search that is looking at that. And maybe I go with something that's right off the bat, Peruvian rainforest. And this is going to call out something that requires the entire name exactly as spelled in this order. So Peruvian rainforest, and we search. And notice that we get 478 searches, and that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good. It's from, now, and the oldest one is, 1928. So that's pretty cool. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our search, and we're going to make a modification. Let's go back here. We'll modify it. No, let's go back to search. Right. And what we're going to do is use a root. And in this case, we're going to use an asterisk here so that it will look for Peru, P-E-R-U, and anything that could be after it. So the Peru is a root. So it could be Peruvian. It could be Peru. That's actually only the two that pop into my head right off the top. We're going to use a Boolean operator because we want both Peru and rainforest. And we might have some things after rainforest, like forestry, foresters, which actually is going to be important to our understanding of community ecology. So I'm going to put an asterisk after that. Okay? And we search now. Notice we get a lot more searches. And we get some cool things. We get this new species of frog, which is wicked cool, and I actually didn't know this. Prestimantis, which is a common frog we see quite a bit. Larval morphology of these organisms, and I actually don't know what those are. Let's find out, right? We're here. That's what we do in science, right? Oh, of course. Yellow flies. Oof, these guys have big bites. Forest, but I'm noticing there's a lot of stuff, but I'm not getting right into the community ecology I wanted. So I'm going to expand my search, and I'm going to go with community, and I'm going to put an asterisk there, and we're going to refine it. Now, we've dropped our number of searches quite a bit, but we're getting, and I only want to focus on articles. I don't want reviews, I don't want meetings, I don't want books, I want articles. Cool. Now we got something that's actually kind of working. Well, it's probably going to be two initial steps for sort of how you evaluate whether you're going to use an article or not. And you got to go through all of them. So there's a lot. You've got 568 to evaluate, so we got to make this quick. Well, the first thing you want to do is look at the title. Does a title match into your research question? Where my research question is about sort of the community ecology of vertebrates and invertebrates in terrestrial environments of the Peruvian Amazon. So I'm going to look at like indigenous lands for better amphibian biodiversity. Well, that is definitely something I want. So I'm going to mark it, okay? And it's actually already been marked because, again, this is the second time I'm doing a video. Sparing of Amazonian old-growth forests with floodplain access. Well, this looks like it's about, riparian communities. It seems to be about sort of an applied issue of conservation, so I'm going to keep it. We have the disappearance of ecosystem engineers, so white peccary. Well, white peccary are kind of a pig type of thing, and ecosystem engineers have a huge effect on how many types of animals can live in an area. So I definitely want to keep that. Notice this one has not been marked, and we look at them. We're looking at divergence of climbing escape performance in morpho butterflies. I love morpho butterflies. This is a bright blue butterfly, but it's not about the community ecology. It's really about the behavioral ecology of a species. So I'm not going to mark that. I'm only going to mark those things that I want to use. So let's go to some new ones. Novel high resolution gridded precipitation database of watershed. You know, this is about the abiotic conditions, but it might help me understand the community ecology. So I'm going to mark that. Oh, I actually removed it, but I'm putting it back. Evidence of high elevation, salar recharge, and interbasin groundwater. No, that's not me. So notice I'm not going to mark it. I continue on. Small holder agricultural results in stable forest cover in riparian Amazon. Yeah, that's kind of about that, how the humans affect the community. So I'm definitely going to mark that. No, so I'm keeping a lot. I'm taxonomic revision of no. I love phylogenetic papers, and I love how we try to split up species all over the place, but not my cup of tea. Not for right now. Plus, there's flowers, and I like flowers, but we're going to use. So living in the top of the forest line, and medium and large mammals and high mountain ecotones. That's great, but that's sort of up in the mountains, so that's not us. So we're not going to mark that. And notice we're just going to go through, and we're quickly looking at the title, Post-Logging Effects of Nest Predation, Avian Predator Assemblage. We're marking that. If I'm unclear, then I go into the abstract. But this is sort of our initial sort of evaluation. Again, I'm looking for things that are dealing with the community ecology of terrestrial vertebrates and invertebrates in the Peruvian rainforest. So if it's wrong of habitat, nah. If it's something about communities, yep. If it's about an individual species, nah. If it's phylogenetic, nah. If it's humans' effect on community, yeah, because that's probably going to be a good thing to have in a review. So we go here, systematic review and meta-analysis of potential non-human animal reserves and arthropod vectors. And ooh, that's weird. I can't get a citation right here. So I'm going to mark it. It looks like it's preprint, which means it hasn't been actually published yet, but it's in the process of being published, and I'm gonna keep it. All right, so we keep going for a little bit, and we'll do one more. Trait dependence response of birds and bats to season and dry forest distance to tropical agroforestry. Yup, that's another one. I'm going to mark that. Now, one of the things I mentioned in another video, but I'll just briefly mention it here, is there's really two cool features. One is time-cited in all databases. You click that, and it goes to every paper that actually cited the one we just read. This is a great way to find additional papers that are really appropriate for what you are doing. Further, you have cited references. These are the papers that were cited in the article you're looking at. So this is another great place to go to find additional papers. But I talked about it in another video. Oh, here we are. Okay, so once we have all of our marked lists, and again, you got to go through all of them, so it's going to take a while, and you can do it at more than once, so it will save your information. I'm going to go to marked list, as long as you access it consistently. And what we get is we get our documents, and we write 15 some odd papers quickly, and we got 9 of them that we like, and we're going to need to go into these further. Okay, the first thing we're going to want to do, and it's kind of a good thing to do, is we're going to want to copy and paste them out, so we actually have sort of a catalog of what we have. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is put these into an Excel file, a tab delimited file. Okay, and actually let's see what we want to do. Tab delimited, and we have author, title, source. I want to encourage you to put down abstract as well, so that you have a place where you can actually look at these a little bit further, a little bit more deeply. Again, we're not grabbing the articles yet. We are literally figuring out which ones are sort of the initial evaluation. We export those, and what we get is, well, that's not going to do us any good, so let's try that again. Let's see if there's a different way of doing it. Oh, Excel, duh. Again, abstract source. We get that. We open it up, and we get this. Now, there's a lot of information here that we're not going to want, but for the time being, let's keep it. We get all the authors. We get their addresses, we get the title, we get the journal. So we get a database that shows us all the things. Plus, we actually get the abstracts, so we can look at it more completely. Tells us the date, tells us the volume. If they have an ORCID number, tells us the ORCID number. All this great stuff. All this great stuff. All the way through. We could then just add another column, and we'll start doing this later, to think about how we're going to use it. You know, does it provide good background? Does it provide a good example? And these are what we'll call themes, but we'll work on those in a different time. For this assignment, you're going to be answering the questions that are in the assignment. You're going to identify the total number of papers that you find, given your search criteria. Mine was over 500. And then you're going to actually pull out, do that quick evaluation of all the ones that actually might be useful to you, and create an Excel file and upload that and define how many of those there are. Based on the ratio we were going through, I would probably have somewhere like 300 to 400 paper. Doesn't mean we're going to use all 300 to 400 papers in the review. It really actually doesn't. But we're going to be using a lot, and this is a way we make sure we do things comprehensively. Okay? Make sure you save this so you have a good name, and I might put this in our homework notes. That's the wrong one. Yeah, that's actually good. And I'm going to make this into Peru Community Ecology Papers, and we'll call this Web of Science Literature Results 2023-02-04. All right, have fun.